Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're doing something a little bit different. Since we found the perfect island to start a new series of fun mode on, I've been really wanting to kind of plan things out in a more fun way this time. Now I came across a fantastic video from Sparksby, who creates these gorgeous, really fun mood boards for her islands. I mean, just look at this. Do they not look super cool? And it kind of really got me inspired. I mean, I love making vision boards in real life, and we did make one when we was hunting for the island. So I thought, why not start doing this for Elysian and get everything planned out in a really fun visual way. Now, I'm going to link her video down below. Do give it a watch. It is absolutely fantastic if you haven't seen it already. But for now, we're going to jump straight over to Canva and start planning our island. Alright, so here we are over in Canva, and I'm just going to quickly go over the things that we're going to be covering in today's video as we plan our island through using a fun mood board. So I'm going to be going over the theme for our island, the rough idea of the layout that I'm looking at creating, the colours that we may want to include or focus on. We're going to be brainstorming villagers, area ideas, builds and the inspiration for them. We're also going to look at nature and finally some items that we want to include. So anything from flowers, trees, craftables, shopping items, all of that good stuff. Now obviously there are hundreds and hundreds of items in the game, so we won't be including them all, but we're just going to add a few little tidbits here and there for inspiration. So without further ado, let's jump on in and plan our island. Alright, so in case you hadn't guessed, the theme we're going to be doing on our island of Elysian is an all-season island. Now I did mention this in my hard mode series that it's something that I've always wanted to do, and up until this point I've never actually got that far or far enough to actually complete an island, so this is exactly what I'd love to do. So we're going to be dividing the island up into 4 different seasons with a couple of extra areas in between. Now I've already gone ahead and set up the backdrop for our mood board because this part is very fiddly. But all I did was kind of pick an image for each season, kind of arranged how I'm going to be doing it on the island, and I've just blurred them a little bit for the backdrop. Now I'm not going to be going over all the tools in Canva and how to use them, otherwise this video would go on very long. However, do feel free to go back to Sparksby's video, which was the inspiration behind this one. She does a really great job of explaining all the tools that Canva has to offer. But if that is something you'd like to see me do as well, do let me know down below. But for now, let's go over all the things we're going to be looking at to design our island. So the first thing I want to jump down to is the island plan. Now, this is just a very rough outline of what I'm thinking. The whole purpose of this is to brainstorm ideas and get them down in a fun visual way to help stay inspired and motivated and, you know, make the process just really cute and fun. So obviously this is our island map. Obviously it's not going to be very clear because I've had to scale it up for this, but you can get the idea of what we're looking at. So as it stands right now, this is what I'm thinking. So we want to do the 4 different seasons, and I know I want spring and summer at the front. So I'm thinking that from the left we work on spring, then we have summer, autumn and winter. Now if we start off in the middle here where our airport is, I'm thinking this is obviously where our resident services is. So we'll have a really nice entrance area here. Nooks and Ables will probably be included in this section as well. So this will kind of be like our, I don't know, central hub of the island where we start off. Now this white arrow in between, this is going to lead up as like a passway, probably either an incline, staircase, something like that, where you can go directly up to this huge waterfall canyon area. And this is going to be like a central feature on our island. I really want this beautiful lookout. And because it's going to be nestled between autumn and winter, I think it's going to give a really beautiful view. The way I envision it is you can kind of see the 2 seasons blending into each other of fall and winter. And I think that will just be really pretty. Now this sea, I have 3 different ideas for the campsite, but this is one of them, and I'm thinking this would be a fantastic area for the campsite. However, it is going to depend on the other options that I have in mind for this particular area. But as a draft, I'm thinking that we'll probably start with it here. This section of autumn is where I'm going to have my house because it is my favourite season, and I'd love to have my house near sort of a farming area and things. And then I've chosen the top left for winter because of where our peninsula is and these two big rocks. It's going to be the perfect place to have a really cool winter look area, which I'm thinking will be focused around, you know, the meteor showers and the auroras. So we'll get into more detail about my plans for this area in just a moment, but this is basically the rough idea of how I'm going to divide the island up. And obviously we'll probably terraform with rivers and things to separate them more clearly, but this is just to give us a rough idea. Talking of ideas, this is what I've been brainstorming. So I thought I'd go over this first before we kind of move everything onto the mood board, because this will kind of make a lot more sense. So with the 4 different seasons, I've kind of jotted down some ideas of things I'd like to include in those areas, or just some basic ideas for those areas. So starting with spring, when I think of spring, I always think of flowers, of picnic spots, of fishing, of lakes and ponds, lots of bamboo maybe, a zen garden. And this is also one of the options for the campsite, so I may include it in this area if it doesn't go in the waterfall canyon. With summer, I really want it to feel very tropical, so I'm thinking we'll have a winding kind of river that feels like it's sort of in a jungle maybe. Definitely want to include beach bar, maybe a little desert and oasis area with some pyramids, because one of the villagers I'm really wanting to include in this area, I think, is Unka. She is one of my favourites and I've always wanted her on my island. So if we do go with her, that area will be dedicated for her. Now, moving on to autumn, this is where my house is going to be, and I really want this to feel very fall vibe. So we're going to have a lovely orchard, farming area, a farmer's market where you can have like jams and homemade pies and things. And of course it wouldn't be autumn without Halloween. So definitely one of my favourite events of the year. So I think we'll definitely have a dedicated area for Halloween, which will obviously include a pumpkin patch. And this particular season is also where another option for the campsite will be. I'm not exactly sure where. We are going to play around with a few different ideas, but this is just one of 3 options. And then finally with winter. Now with winter, I want it to feel very magical, very Christmassy, kind of winter wonderland vibe. I want it to kind of encapsulate, you know, that childlike wonder of Christmas. So I'm thinking we'll have some kind of grotto gifting area where we can wrap our gifts or, you know, prepare for Christmas, that kind of thing. Might include the carnival items, I'm not entirely sure yet, but that kind of reminds me of Winter Wonderland in London, so I think that might be a cool idea. I do want a winter feast area where people can gather outside and have like all this lovely hot food and hot cocoa and stuff like that. Then I think maybe a really cool ice bar using the frozen items might be fun. And also if we're going more along like the Santa's Grotto and toy shop area, I think could be really cool, like a toy shop workshop sort of thing. I'm not entirely sure, but that's kind of what I imagine. Now in the other section, this is where I've kind of been playing around with other ideas that I want to maybe include on the island, but I'm not entirely sure yet, or I'm not sure where they're going to go. So we already talked about the waterfall canyon. That's going to be like the central feature of the island. That's where we're going to have, you know, some amazing views, a really cool picture opportunity, things like that. This is also where we have the last option for the campsite. Now this will entirely depend on whether or not I go for the next option, which is the Money Rock Island Lake, and I'm going to explain what I mean by this. So I've always wanted to do this, and it comes from the fact that when you go to the Nook Mile Islands, you can obviously get Money Rock Island, and I always thought it'd be a really cool idea to include that on my island. So in the middle of this big waterfall canyon, which will be decorated with all our beautiful native flowers, and it'll just be very colourful with the seasons blending into each other, I thought it'd be really fun to have like a floating island in the middle with our rocks. Obviously our rocks ain't all money rocks, but it will still be really cool, and it'll give me a really good reason to go there every day. So I think that might be what I end up going for, but for now I'm kind of playing between the 2 ideas of either the campsite there or the Money Rock Island. Other things that I'm thinking of including would be an actual marketplace, probably in the town square. I want to kind of do one of the beaches or the little secret beach, kind of pirate themed. I think that would be quite fun. And then I mentioned in the winter area that I really want an area that's dedicated to viewing the meteor showers and auroras. Especially in winter, I feel like that would be really, really cool, just to have this cozy, magical area under the stars. I love that idea, so I really want to do that. And then I'm thinking near the museum, We'll probably kind of have some kind of archaeological dig site, maybe. I'm not entirely sure if we'll have the room for it, but that is one of the ideas I'm thinking. And then finally, I have a couple of ideas when it comes to the way we do our villagers. Now, obviously, we can have 10 villagers on the island, but with this, the way we're doing the seasons, it means we can either do 2 in each section, and then we'll have a couple left over as what I'm going to call wild cards, which I'll come back to in a moment. Or we could do 2 sections of 2 and 2 sections of 3. Or my other option was to do 2 in each section again, and then have 1 villager dedicated to the canyon area, kind of like, you know, the guardian of the canyon, someone that kind of lives out in the sticks in nature, not where the other villagers are. And then the other one kind of by the entrance to the island as kind of like the welcome person, you know. They'll have like a really nice guest house, or, you know, a check-in for people that are coming to view the island. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure just yet. But if we went for the wild card option, what I'm thinking with this is we'd have 2 villagers in each of the seasons, and then we would have 2 wild card plots. And basically what this would be is they would be villagers that are not permanent, they will be auto-filled, and it will kind of give us a way to have new villagers coming and going over time alongside our permanent villagers, which will be located in each season. So let me know what you kind of think of these ideas, and if there's anything else that you can add to it, or you have any other ideas that we may want to include or change, do let me know down in the comments, because as you know, I really value your input and feedback. So now let's look at some inspiration ideas behind builds and areas for the island. Alright, so in this section, I've basically gone ahead and grabbed a load of images from Pinterest and Google and places like that that kind of represent some of the ideas that I have on the island, or give me some kind of inspiration behind some of the builds that I want to do and the kind of feel that I want for that particular part. So you can see we've got some really cute beach decorations here in different themes. We've got a really good picture here that kind of represents what I'm thinking for that winter aurora area. We've obviously got some really cool Halloween inspiration and farming inspiration. Some lovely pictures that kind of represent what I'd like our campsite to look like. We've got some Christmassy town feeling pictures, which I really love the look of these. I'd love to include something like this on our island. We've obviously got a few ideas to cover the waterfalls that I am thinking about for our canyon, and the Zen gardens that I'd like to include for spring, as well as a little playground. And finally, Money Rock Island. I have to include that here. I've also included a picture up here of this really cool island that was made like a desert with the pyramids, and I'm thinking if we can kind of do something like this for Anka's area, that would be amazing. I don't know how we'll be able to do that just yet, but I would like to try and find a way to work it in if we can. But yeah, this is where we're at for some of the pictures we're going to be looking at for inspiration, and we're going to be dragging these up to the vision board once we decide the kind of ones that represent that area the best for us and what we're thinking. So next, let's jump to the villager page. Now, as you can see, this is blank right now. All I've done is I've copied our backdrop for the actual vision board onto this one, because I'm thinking here we're going to brainstorm the villagers first. We're going to just kind of throw a load of ideas on here, not the final lineup, just anyone that we really like the look of or think may be great for that area. And then we'll narrow it down a little bit more and pull some up to the mood board itself. And again, it won't be the final lineup. We will probably end up with more than what we actually can have. But as I said, the whole point of this is just for fun. It's just to get inspired and brainstorm ideas. And finally, I've gone ahead and set up a few pages with some ideas behind the items and the nature that we may want to use in those particular areas. Now, as I said, there are hundreds of items and possibilities, and we can't possibly include them all on a vision board or a mood board, whichever way you like to say it. But I went ahead and grabbed a bunch of images that kind of give me an idea of the things I may want to include in the areas. So I've done one for both spring or summer, and then we have autumn, and we have winter. Now, as I said, I'm not going to go over a tutorial of Canva or anything like that, but I am going to show you just kind of how I got all this put together. So when it comes to the items, I've used a really cool website called Nook Exchange. So it's nook.exchange. And this holds all the items in game, and you can search by the categories, you can filter them, everything. So all you have to do is select what you want, right click it, save it, or drag and drop straight into Canva. And then for all the villager photos, I literally just Googled them. I literally would go onto Google and type something like stitches, PNG to get the transparent background, ACNH, and then usually you want to look for the Wikipedia icon, because this one will give you the checkered backdrop that you know means it's going to be transparent, so it'll be easy for when you drag and drop into Canva. Okay, so now the only thing left to show you is that I have gone ahead and just dragged and dropped a few flowers and trees in here ready to move up later. And finally, some ideas for pathing. Now, this could be ones that we might want to recreate ourselves, or ones that we may want to go shopping for on the custom portal, but just kind of to get an idea of what might look good in each area. So I got a few ideas, again off Google and Pinterest, and just kind of dragged them onto this page so that you don't have to sit through and watch me Googling every item, villager and idea. I thought it made sense to kind of get them all together beforehand before we start working on the board itself. Alright, so now we've covered all of the pictures and things that I've got set up in preparation, it's time to jump into actually creating the mood board for the island, and we're going to start right away with our villagers. Okay, so hopping back up to our villager page, this part here is just going to be kind of a brainstorm. We're going to go through all the villagers that we think may be suited to the seasons. We're going to pick out dreamies, ones that we just really think would look good, anything like that. This is not going to be the final lineup, this is just to brainstorm and have fun with it and just get some ideas of what we may want to include. But obviously I am going to include a lot of personal dreamies, just because hopefully this is going to be my forever island, so I want to make sure that some of my favourite villagers are included where it makes sense to include them. So with that being said, if we pop on over to this folder here, I've tediously went through all the villagers last night, hundreds of them, and downloaded them all the way I showed you from Google, just like this, and popped them all into Canva and then sorted them by personality. This is the thing when you're signed off by the doctor and you're stuck at home, you've got way too much free time. But you know, I love this stuff, I'm totally nerdy for it, and I love doing anything creative, so it was a lot of fun for me. Now what we do is we'll just go through each category and start picking out some villagers and pop them where we think they might make sense. So let's start with the peppies. Now, having a quick look through, let's see. Sprinkle, right off the bat, she would be a really good winter villager. We're definitely gonna have to pop her on here. I don't know that she's going to be in the final lineup because I do have some very specific ideas about the way I want the winter section to be. So, but she is definitely a really good option, so I'm definitely going to include her. And then scrolling on down a little bit more, I definitely think Tangy and Pango are really good summer villagers as well. I'm not normally a fan of the Anteaters, but Pango is one that I do like. Pango and Antonio are probably the only ones I like, actually. But Tangy, I'm going to say for sure, she might be a really good summer villager. So I'm going to pop her down here. And then looking a little bit further, Ketchup. I absolutely love Ketchup. She is so cute and she's always been a dreamy of mine. So she is an absolute definite for spring, and I may even have to do her a little tomato farm. But no, I imagine having, you know, her by a really nice little pond or lake, you know, because she's a duck, of course, but I absolutely love her. She's adorable, and she is definitely one that I want to include for spring. So she will be a definite final villager, I'm sure. Now, looking at the rest of them, Audi, she is an absolute definite for summer. I never used to really like Audi, to be honest, and then I had her on an island that I didn't have for very long, and I just really enjoyed having her around. I had a lot of fun with her, and I can't imagine having a summer section without Audi. You know, she's always looking so bright and colourful, she's peppy, she's got her sunglasses, so yeah, absolutely I think Audi would be a great choice for summer. Now, Shino, I really loved on our hard mode island. I was really excited when we found her and I could finally see what all the fuss was about. And I'm thinking that she may be suited to the Halloween section of autumn. However, again, I do have some specific villagers in mind for autumn, so I don't know that she will be in the final lineup. But for the purpose of a brainstorm, I definitely think she would be a great idea for that particular area. And then there's cute little Peanut. Now, Peanut I had on my very first Animal Crossing island. which I unfortunately didn't have for very long, because as soon as I found out that you could actually get different airport colours and fruits and maps, I restarted. But I absolutely love her, and I think if I was to try and get her on this island, then it would probably be in summer, because she's very colourful. Again, she's peppy and bubbly, and she just gives me all the summer vibes. So I'm going to pop her in the summer section for now as a possibility. And I pretty much think that's it for the peppies. I don't see any others that are jumping out. Well, I mean, Flora, she would be a really good option for summer as well. I mean, she is very tropical. She is a flamingo. So she could be a maybe for summer. And again, Mary, I really like Mary actually, and she gives me spring vibes. So she could potentially be a good option for spring. I think with the cherry blossoms behind her and stuff, she does look very cute. And yeah, I think she could be a really good option for spring. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm going to keep her on the brainstorm for now. And I think that's about it. Oh, actually, Bunny. Bunny is the other one that I think could be a really good option for spring. So I'm going to put her right here. Again, I do have a lot of specific villages in mind when I was envisioning, you know, the kind of areas I want to build and how I imagine each area to look and feel. So I'm not sure that she will be in the final lineup, but she's going to be here for the brainstorm at least. All right, so now we're going to move on to, let's have a look at the jocks. Now, I don't generally like many jocks, so I'm not sure that in the final lineup we're going to have any of them. But at some point, I mean, we've got Lyman right now, which hopefully will help us get the reactions and DIYs and stuff. But whether we end up with a jock on the final kind of stages of the island, I don't know. If I was going to include a jock, I would probably look at either Boone, because he's so unique and colourful, and I'd probably go summer with him, or I'd keep Lyman in kind of spring or summer. I mean, Teddy was one of my very, very first starters, so he would be a good option, but I don't know where I would see him fit in the best at the moment for this particular idea. I think the only one that I would probably go for would be someone like Bill, because I think him and Ketchup together just would be, you know, cuteness overload. I really think they would. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep him there just as an option. So, but other than that, I don't see any jocks that I kind of want for this particular island. But maybe in a future one when we look at doing a different fun theme. So a little mini spoiler alert there, this won't be the only island that we have, even though it's going to be our forever island. So I will tell you more about that very soon. But for now, let's continue on and jump into the next category. Now, normal's a hard one for me because there's so many normal villagers that I love. Obviously Fauna, she is an absolute must for a season like fall. I don't know that she's going to be a finalist, but you can't not have Fauna on the board. She's perfect for that kind of season. Poppy, I absolutely love Poppy. She's probably a definite for me actually for fall. I really do love her. I would love to include her on the island, so I think she will probably stay. So I think for now I'm going to put her on the board right here, and I'm pretty sure she is going to make it up to the mood board. Now Flurry, obviously a great option for winter, very cozy winter vibes with Flurry. And I can't possibly do a mood board inspired by Sparksby without including her favourite villager, can I? Even if she doesn't make it to the mood board itself, she's definitely a great option for winter. So we'll pop Flurry right there. My next idea was Molly. I absolutely love Molly, and I think maybe having her and Ketchup together by a really cute pond, two little ducks, absolutely adorable. I mean, I think I would love that. I'm really liking that idea, and they look really cute together. I can see them being great friends, and they're different personalities as well, which is really nice. So I'm going to keep her on there. Not 100% sure that she's going to be a finalist. Maybe I don't want two ducks, but I don't know. They're both so cute, so I think I probably might actually. Now, someone that is a definite for me is Pico. Pico was my entire inspiration behind spring. I mean, look how cute she looks. The cherry blossoms bring out her cheeks and her little pink paws. Oh my god. But But I would love to have like a dedicated kind of bamboo area for her. Very, very beautiful and serene, you know. And if we don't have the rock garden in the waterfall canyon, it would be in her kind of yard, in her garden area. But yeah, I imagine a really beautiful cherry blossom spring vibe with bamboo and stuff for Pico, and I think that'll be so much fun. So she is someone that's an absolute definite for me, and yeah, and she's always been a big dreamy of mine. I would love, love, love to have her on the island, especially my forever island. Okay, now we got Coco. Now Coco was a villager that I never really used to like and was kind of freaked out by a little bit. But then I had her on an island briefly and I absolutely loved her. I don't know what it was, but I absolutely loved her. So I'm thinking she will be perfect for our Halloween kind of area. I mean, she would be good in any part of fall, but I really see her as being like part of the Halloween area. So I might actually include her. So I do really find her super cute and unique. So I think she is maybe a definite. Well, I'm not yet sure. We'll see. Well, let's see who else we've got here. Now, Alice, I mean, come on, she is so cute. Alice is very, I'm going to say very summery vibe to me. I mean, she could work for spring as well, but I do think she gives me a summer vibe. She's very colourful. She's very, I don't know, I just imagine her chilling out on the beach, you know, kind of enjoying herself. So I'm definitely going to include Alice as an option for our summer section. And Lily would definitely be a really good option for spring as well. I'm not usually a fan of the frogs, I will be honest. She is the only frog that I would consider probably because she is so cute. But I think, to be honest, all of the others I like a bit more. So they would probably be more what I would lean towards. But I'm going to include her in, you know, in the brainstorm section just in case. And then we've got Marina. Marina, again, I was never a fan of the octopuses or octopi. But then there's something about her that I just find super cute, and I can imagine a really cool like seaside kind of home for her. I mean, she looks great just with the backdrop, to be honest with you. So I think Marina, she will be a fantastic option for summer. Let's pop her right here next to Peanut. They'd actually make quite cute neighbours, wouldn't they? Now, oh my god, there's just too many. This is going to be so hard, guys. You can't not have Maple. I mean, she is just absolutely perfect for autumn. And I imagine her having like a really cute little bee farm, you know, honey and bears. I know, I can't help it, but I just imagine that being super cute for her. And she's such a lovely villager as well. I've had her once before. I just really, really enjoyed her. So absolutely, she's going to go on our fall section. Not sure, obviously, if she's going to be in the finalists, but for now, I definitely want to see if we can include her. Now, Lolly is one that I love. I absolutely love Lolly as well. I've only had her once before, very briefly, but I think she would also make a really great option for winter. You know, she's got the same sort of shirt as Sprinkle there. She's very cozy looking, and she's just absolutely adorable. I mean, her colours and everything, I think, would go very well with winter. So yeah, I definitely have to include Lolly as an option. Now June is another one that I really love and can see being a great addition to the summer section. So she's got to go there. I absolutely love June. I find her super, super cute. And Bee as well. Bee is so cute, but I don't know where she would best be suited for this particular island. I mean, I can't remember what her house looks like. I'm not going to worry too much about the houses though, because I do have the DLC and I do plan on going through for the first time and actually completing it to the point where I can design the villager homes. So I'll be able to make all the homes kind of suit the areas and their personality and things the way we want to. So I'm not going to let that be a factor. So even if they look out of place for a little while, it's not really going to matter in the long run. So I think, I mean, with Bee, I'm going to just leave her in the middle at the moment, because I'm not really sure. The problem is I've already got a lot of options for each section, so I'm not sure if she's someone that I can include. You'll have to let me know if you've got any ideas for Bee, maybe if we do keep her. Now, oh, Megan, if you remember on my hard mode island, I absolutely loved Megan when I come across her, and I've had her recently when I played on an island just briefly to test things out, and she's still so cute to me, and there's something so fun about her, just very positive, and she just gives me proper sunshine vibes. So I think I may try to include her in summer. I'm not entirely sure, and we could end up doing a thing where we let the villagers rotate, but if we're looking at a Forever Island possibility, she's definitely could be on the lineup, because I don't know, she reminds me of the hard mode series and how this all got started, but she's also just so full of good feeling vibes. I think she's super cute, very underrated in my opinion. Now, Ione was another option I had for winter, because with winter, as I mentioned, I want to go more for the magical kind of childlike wonder of Christmas rather than the typical winter kind of area. So I want it to kind of feel like that childlike Christmas, you know. Ione could be a good fit, but I'm not entirely sure, because the ones I'm really thinking of for winter would be Stitches. Absolutely, obviously one of my favourite all-time villagers, and I have to get Stitches on the island. And I do imagine him being actually perfect for winter, even though he would pretty much fit any season, and spring specifically as well. I'm torn between putting him in spring with like a really fun playground area, or having him in winter near like our Santa's grotto and, you know, childlike Christmas toy shop kind of area. So I might hold off on Ione, but we'll see. And I think that pretty much covers all of the normal villagers. Yeah, I don't see any others that are really jumping out to me for this particular idea that I have and how I imagine things. So I'm going to go back out of the normals, and we're going to jump into the snooties. Judy, first of all, is an absolute must. She is an absolute definite for me. Along with Stitches, I imagine her being perfect for the kind of feeling that I want in my winter area. I want her house to be right by where we're going to have the aurora and meteor shower gazing area. I mean, she's got stars in her eyes, she's got beautiful colours, you know, the soft purple and blues and pinks. I think she'll be perfect, especially in the winter backdrop. I think she actually looks quite fitting. So Judy, you are definitely going to be coming into our winter section. I mean, so many of these villagers I like and could be really fun, but you know, I have to remind myself there will be other islands. You know, this isn't the only one, this is just the main one, and we can change them at any time as well if we want to. We might decide that after having a villager for a while that we want to kind of change things up. So, oh, it's Opal. Now the thing about Opal is she's actually my birthday twin, 20th of January. And I never actually really liked her until I found this out, and I wanted to get her just to get her photo because she was my birthday twin. And then I had her on my island, and I don't know what it was, but I just really, really loved her. She was like my bestie on the island, she really was. And I just, as soon as I had to restart, I thought I really want to get her back one day because she was really fun to have around. Now, I don't know that I see her in any particular season, so what I'm going to do is pop her in this middle section, which I'm going to call our wildcard section, so that if we do implement the wildcard idea, she might be a good candidate for it, whether it's, you know, to be our entrance villager or our canyon villager, or just one of the ones that we bring in as a wildcard plot to get their photo, you know, have someone different on the island for a while and then let them leave and bring someone new in. So not sure how we're going to do it yet, so I'm going to keep her in that section as a possibility, because there is part of me that would really love to have her back on the island. Yeah, I really would. I mean, she's my birthday twin, how can I not? And I think she's pretty cute, to be honest. I know she's not really one that's popular, but to me, I think she is proper cute. The only other one that I absolutely want is Anka. As I mentioned, I've got some really cool ideas for her, and I absolutely would love to have her in my summer section. I mean, she looks great with the backdrop anyway, but I really want to have like a really cool desert oasis around her home. Maybe find a way to include, you know, some pyramids or a deserty area. I'm not really deserty, I'm making up my own words now. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I have always wanted Anka. She is a dreamy of mine, and I absolutely have to have her on this island. So she's one that's going to be a definite for summer, I think. And with that, I think we are done with the snooties for now. So let's have a look. We've now got some crankies to look at. Now, the main one for me, I'm going to go straight to Wolfgang. So when I mentioned my idea about having a villager that kind of lived, away from everybody else, kind of out in nature by the canyon, Wolfgang is the absolute epitome of what I would want. I absolutely love Wolfgang. He's my favourite cranky, and I would love to have him on the island. If I don't end up doing the canyon idea, then I would move him into fall probably, but I think he would absolutely love being by the canyon. So I'm going to pop him in this middle section. In fact, I'm going to move Opal down. We'll pop her down here for now. Make her a bit bigger. B, I'm going to move you down here and make you a little bit bigger. And we're going to put Wolfgang here as well. So these are kind of our wildcard options, or ones that don't fit in each season really well at the moment for what we're thinking. But Wolfgang, I would absolutely love to have on my island. He is a dreamy of mine as well. Again, there is so many great villagers. I think the only other cranky that really jumps out to me would be Grizzly. I really like Grizzly, and I think he would be a fantastic option for fall. So I'm gonna move him on up here. I mean, even his house is really cool. So yeah, I think Grizzly would suit that area very, very well. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it for the crankies, isn't it? Is there anybody else? I mean, again, there's so many I love. Fang's great. There's so many great ones, but I think for this purpose, I'm pretty much set with the crankies. Now, I am going to try and include the different personality types where I can, but because I do love so many of the villagers, and a lot of them are going to have similar personalities, I'm not going to let that be a deciding factor. I'm going to go specifically with who is going to make it the most fun for me, and hopefully who will, really bring out the best in each season, or give us some really fun build ideas, things like that. And if we do have the wildcard plots, for instance, we can use those to get the personalities that we're missing if we need DIYs or reactions and stuff like that. But it's not something I'm going to be overly concerned about. I don't want to let go of one that I really love just to get a different personality type. So we've done the cranky. We've only got the lazy, sisterly and smug left. Now lazy straight away, I'm going to jump to Stitches, because as I said, he is an absolute must for Christmas, for Winter Wonderland, and the childlike wonder that I want to kind of bring to that area. I absolutely love Stitches. He just makes me happy. I just absolutely makes me feel like, I don't know, it's just something about it. It's just really, really, really cute. Stitches, absolute must. And I think Stitches and Judy would make really good neighbours, actually. I kind of imagine her looking out for him. So, scrolling back up, let's see if there's anyone else that we may want to include. Now, I do really love Bo. Bo would be a great option for autumn. However, I am wanting to get Eric, so it wouldn't make sense for me to have Eric and Bo, both lazies, both deer. But I am going to put them on the brainstorm because I do really like Bo, and he would be a really good fit for that sort of area. Filbert, I love Filbert. We had him on our hard mode island and he was so cute, and I definitely want to, on future islands, I imagine we're going to be seeing him again for sure. Now, who else have we got here? Derwin, he's also super cute. Here's Eric. Now, Eric would work great for either fall or winter, but I know he's a deer, but I kind of imagine him as a reindeer, and with his home being very wintry and things, even though again we can change it, I think he will be perfect to go in the winter area. Now, I may change my mind and move him to fall, but for now I'm going to pop him on our winter section. And then you got Pappy. Oh, do you remember how much I got so excited when I found Pappy? I really love him. I know he's not popular. He's super underrated to me, but he is so cute. Now, he could be a good option for the fall section. However, I think I've got a bunch of others that are probably more fitting for that area. So for now, I'm going to put Pappy right in the middle here for our wildcard section, because he may be one that we, you know, use somewhere else on the island instead, or kind of decide later on where we might have him if we do decide to have him. And I think other than that, I'm pretty much set. I mean, Sasha I've never had, but would be a really good option maybe for spring. Lucky obviously is a great option for fall, but I like the villagers that we got more. So I don't think I'm really worried about any of these other ones for now. No, none of them are jumping out to me. So let's go on over to the sisterlies. Now, I don't generally like many sisterly villagers, I will be honest. It's not my favourite. There's a few that I really like. You know, Cherry's cool. I do like Phoebe. Hazel I like. Cat, as you know, I had a lot of fun with Cat on my hard mode island, and she was my first ever starter villager. And then there's Faith. Again, she's really cool. Would be a great option for summer, but I think I would probably go more for June over Faith, so I'm not going to worry about her. The only other option would be the one that we've got as our starter right now, which is Ursula. And I'm really enjoying having Ursula. We're only on day 2, but, well, day 1 technically, but the second part is in day 2 because we've done our introductory stuff. But I'm really debating whether or not she may end up becoming a permanent villager. I don't know because we've got so many here already. But for now, I'm going to put her on there as a possibility because I do find her super cute. Okay, so we only have one more left to do, and that's the smugs. Now, again, there's not many smugs I actually like. The one for me that I'm leaning towards is Julian, because again, he fits the magical winter wonderland vibe for me, and I think he would be perfect up in that area with Judy and Stitches and so on. So I'm going to include him as an option, and I would take him over Flurry and Sprinkle and Ione. And even Lolly maybe, because I think he'll be more suited. So I've never really had Julian before, but I don't know, something about him that I think would be really fitting for that area. And then let me see, who else have we got here? Marshall I like, but again, I don't really see him fitting anywhere specifically for the ideas that I have. And Raymond, I've only had Raymond once in the past, and I really enjoyed him. I know he's super popular, or he was super popular, but there's something so unique about him, and I love cats anyway. But I don't know that I would have anywhere that I would want to put him seasonal wise. I think the only way that I would have Raymond is if I had him as like our entrance welcomer kind of villager in one of our wildcard plots maybe. So I'm going to move him up here as a possibility, but probably very low on the list possibility, because I think out of all the options I would go for Wolfgang, Opal or even Pappy more. But I'll put him there just for now. And with that, I think that's literally all the villagers. I think we've gone through them all. So I don't think I've forgotten anyone. So this is what our rough brainstorm looks like at the moment. So we've got a bunch lined up for each season. And now it's just going to be a matter of trying to narrow them down a little bit. Oh, let me just undo that. This is going to be super hard, and it can change at any time, but the main thing is to remember is it's just for inspiration right now. We're just having fun with it. So with that being said, let's try and narrow it down and move them up to the mood board. All right, so here is where we're going to now move the villagers up to the actual mood board and try and narrow them down quite a bit. Again, we don't have to have our final 10 villagers here. We can have extras and figure it out later on as we go. But this is kind of where I'm going to put the main ones that I'm leaning towards, I think. So let's start off with spring. So jumping back down to spring, we had 7 options here. Now I know 2 of them are definite for me. Definitely Pico, definitely Ketchup. Now we can have a maximum of 3 per section, I think, the way I'm looking at it. I know we can do more, but I think I kind of want to even it out to either 3, 3, 2 and 2, or 2, 2, 2, 2, and then some wild cards in other areas. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to try and look at a minimum of 3 for each area. So Pico, she is a definite. So we are going to pop her right on here. Look how cute she is. She just fits in so perfectly with the cherry blossoms. And it's going to be really hard and challenging actually doing the areas, because obviously you can't, you know, truly enjoy the area in the season that shows it the best. Like winter's not going to look the best unless it's in winter, spring unless it's in spring, and so on. But we're going to do a really good job, hopefully using the items and stuff like that to kind of bring out the best of them in whatever ways we can. But with that being said, let's go grab Ketchup. So Ketchup, she is absolute definite for me. So I'm gonna bring her in. I'm just gonna make her a little bit smaller. We don't want them too big. About there should be fine. Yeah, so we've got Pico and Ketchup for sure. And then the other one I'm pretty much certain I want to try and include is Molly. I absolutely love Molly, and I think her and Ketchup together would be super cute. So I'm gonna put Molly right here. And if we jump back down to spring, is there anyone else that we really could see having in that area? The only other one that's leaning out to me is either Bunny or Mary. And I think I'm leaning more towards Mary at the moment. So just to get, you know, yeah, I think I prefer Mary to Bunny. I mean, Bunny gives me Bunny Day vibes. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But I think I would go more towards Mary. I love her colours. I think she's got that very subtle pastel kind of colouring that you kind of associate with spring. So we're going to add Mary to our board as well as a possibility for our final lineup for spring. And with that, we've got our 4 villagers. I think that will be, you know, the ones we'll focus on for spring. Again, we could go back to our brainstorming and change them up at any time, but for now these are the ones that are kind of jumping out to me the most and giving me, you know, the kind of vibes that I want for that area. So there are our villagers that we're looking at for spring. All right, next up we've got Summer. Now Summer, I know that the definites for me are probably going to be Unka and Aldi, and we're going to pop her right over here. She is definitely really fun to have, I think, and she's going to give us some really cool ideas for builds, and she is going to go right up here with Unka. Let's pop her right there. Beautiful. Actually, I might put her down here. She kind of looks cool on the beach like that. All right, so we've got Aldi. Now I'm a bit torn on the 3rd and 4th options. I kind of want to narrow it down to. I'm thinking Marina. Something about Marina I think would be really cool for that area. And I can imagine her, you know, having a really cool underwater kind of theme around her house, very beachy, maybe even some mermaid and shell items, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I imagine her being a really cool in this area, and there's something about her that I really love. So I'm going to pop her on here for now as one of our finalists. And now the last one is kind of hard for me because I really love a lot of these villagers. I think I'm willing to kind of forego Flora and Tangy. Yeah, I'm not really sure on those. Even Alice, I find her super cute, but I think out of the 2 I'd probably go more towards June. I think for me, I'm kind of leaning between keeping our starter Ursula, looking at Megan, June, or Peanut. I really don't know. I mean, Peanut would be a fun one because she's kind of a nod to my very first island. I really do love her. But I also really like Megan. And I think she would be very fun. I might have to put them both up there. Ursula as well. I still really love Ursula, but I think I'm leaning more towards Megan because she's a nod to our hard mode series and, you know, how this all kind of got started. So she would be a really fun one, I think, to have, and she would fit the season very well, I reckon. But I am going to bring one more up for this section because I am having a hard time kind of narrowing it down. In fact, you know, I think we might bring maybe another 2. I'm going to grab Peanut because, again, it's very nostalgic for me and my first island, and she makes me smile. So she's going to go up to the board for now. Yeah, so for now, I think we've got 5, so a lot more than what we actually need. But I'm not entirely sure on how I'm going to narrow it down yet, but I'm debating bringing June up because I really like June as well. This is such a struggle, guys. It really is. God help us when we actually come to the villager hunts, I tell you. This is why I wanted to do this before the villager hunt, so you can understand my struggle. Yeah, I think... and then I feel bad because I'm not bringing Ursula up, and she's our starter and she's been so cute. Guys, what do I do? What do I do? I mean, we could put them all up there. We really can. It is literally just for fun, for inspiration. It's not a final, you know, this is set in stone and how it's got to be. So let's take June up. All right, June, she's coming onto the board as well as a possibility, I think, for sure. Spring is looking pretty empty now compared to summer. And just because I can't imagine leaving her behind, I am going to give Ursa the chance on the mood board because I really do like her, and it might come to the point where I don't want to let her go. I might be okay with letting her go at some point, but at the moment, I don't know. I mean, it's too early to say, but she's definitely a great option for that season, possibly. So let's see what we think when we bring her into this section. You see already, now that I'm bringing her in, when we've got Anka for definite and Audi for definite, I don't think she actually fits in as well now as the others. I think for now, I'm going to leave Ursula off the board. I'm sorry, Ursula. I'm going to leave her off because I like this lineup a lot more for our final kind of summer ideas. So yeah, I think we'll leave summer at this and we'll move on to autumn. All right, so coming back down to autumn, I think the one that's an absolute definite for me is probably going to be Poppy. So we're going to grab Poppy, and she is going to be the first one up in our autumn section. Yeah, we'll pop her right up here, I think. So Poppy is there. Next up, I think Maple and Fauna definitely need to go up, and I think maybe even Coco and Grizzly. I think I'm gonna forego Shino and Bo because I definitely know I want Eric, so I don't think I want Bo and Eric together. Let's take Maple, and we're gonna pop Maple right up here as well. Fauna, I'm gonna put right here. Yeah, I think she looks really cute there. I might even put Maple here next to her, to be honest. And then I think Coco and Grizzly both need to go up there, but I'm thinking I may end up passing up Grizzly for Wolfgang. But, you know, because we're looking at our finalists that we want to narrow it down to, Coco's definitely going to be one of them, I think. Okay, so let's just move Poppy along a little bit and Maple down a little bit. Give her a bit more room. Give them all a bit more room. Okay, that's looking good to me. And now, do we want to bring up Grizzly? I'm thinking we do, because he's definitely a good option and one that I'm leaning towards. So let's pop Grizzly up here. Yeah, let's do it like that. That looks pretty good for now. We'll move them about later. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So finally, let's get winter settled. So as I mentioned with winter, I do have very specific ideas on how I want it to be. And I'm thinking Judy, Stitches, and then Eric and Julian. I think those are going to be my final four, with the possibility of Lolly. I think these are the ones I'm leaning to the most. I mean, Sprinkle would be great though. You know who I did forget to put on here? Aurora. Aurora would have been a great option as well. If I was to go for one of the penguins, I would go for Aurora, I think, over Sprinkle, just because I've already got a bunch of peppies. But I think I'm going to put Aurora up here, even though she wasn't our brainstorm. Somehow I completely missed her. We've got her now, so she is a definite option for winter. Now, going back to winter, as I mentioned, I definitely think these four, possibly five with Lolly. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to start moving these ones up because they are going to be in the finalist. So we're definitely going to have Judy. We're definitely going to have Stitches. Julian is a definite consideration for this section for me as well. And finally, Eric. Eric is a definite up here as well. Now I am going to include Lolly as well, just because I really do love her, and I think given the choice I'd probably take her over Aurora. I'm not sure because I do love them both, but I'm going to include her for now because she is a definite option. So we're going to pop her up here But with that being said, I think we've got our final brainstorming lineup for our villagers, the main ones that we're kind of considering or narrowed down to for each of the seasons. So how exciting. And now we're going to jump on over to the inspiration picks, the kind of ideas for builds and things we want to include in each of the seasons. So let's do that now. Alright, so jumping into the inspiration for some of the areas we may want to include on the island. I have quite a few here, and we can't obviously include them all, but I just want to kind of put 2 or 3 in each section to kind of give us a feel of what we're aiming for. So starting with spring, I know that I want, you know, kind of like a fun playground area. I know I want, you know, kind of like a botanical garden or a Zen garden kind of feeling, and lots of picnic areas. Don't think I've really got any picnic areas lined up on here at the moment, so I'm gonna grab I think I'm gonna grab this one with the bridge. Let's copy this and move it on up. Now for this we're probably going to want a frame, so I'm going to pop it here just a moment. In fact, what we'll do is we'll grab the pictures and then we'll worry about frames in a moment. So I'm also going to grab this really cute picture of a park. And I'm also going to grab this other kind of Zen kind of garden. These kind of give the ideas of some of the things I want to complete. I didn't really have inspiration pictures for all of my ideas when it comes to, you know, the flower garden, the lake, the picnic areas, but that's what our list is for. As you saw, we have a whole list right here to kind of brainstorm with. So we're just going to include a couple of the pictures for now because we don't have much room. So these are probably the 3 that I want to include. Now I'm going to grab some frames. So if we go on over to the elements and type frame, well, let's see what we've got in here. Let me try this one. If I bring that down, let's pop that. Yeah, I like that a lot more. So that's the frame I think I'm going to use. So let me just pop that there a minute and we'll grab another one. Alright, so a little bit of fiddling about, and that is what we're going to do with regards to popping our pictures down for now, though I may cut them down to 2 just because it's taking up a lot of space. And we only have a little small area to work with, but we've got a few included right now. So let's move on to summer. Now with summer, the main ones I want to include is obviously an option for the beach. I definitely want to include this inspiration here from a really cool island that I saw on Pinterest that was designed like a desert, and it looked absolutely amazing. We might have to tour it one day on the Dream Address, but if there was a way to do it, I'd love to do something like this near Anka's house, or at least try and kind of get something similar with what the area will allow us to do. So I'm definitely going to take this picture up, and then let's just move it over here for now. I'm going to grab this beach here. It's very, very bright and colourful, but something really about it just gives me Marina vibes. So if we do go with Marina, I imagine doing something like this for her. So let's pop that one on there as well. And then finally, I really like both of these beach pictures. I don't know which one I want to include. I'm probably going to go for the picnicky one because I love both of them. They're both really cool, but I think this one leans more towards like a nice hangout spot. But I really love this kind of spa area by the beach. I think that's really cool. Let's just grab this one for now. We can come back to this anytime for our inspiration, of course. So this way we've got 3 really cool ones. So I'm gonna copy this and we're gonna move these over so we can kind of line up our ideas for this side. Should be about right. Let's grab this washi tape and just start plopping that along. Okay, and then we can slot our pictures in. That one can go there and that one can go there. Beautiful. I will make these probably a bit bigger after so they stand out a little bit more, but I just want to make sure we've got room for everything we need to put on first. So let's jump on into autumn. Now with autumn, the main thing I want to kind of pull from the inspiration is for the Halloween area, which I really love both of these pictures. This one specifically stands out to me quite a bit, so I'm going to grab this one. So we'll just pop that right up here for now. The next one I really want to grab is a farming kind of inspiration. I've got a couple here that I really like. Probably going to go more towards this one for the moment. So let's just pop that one down there. I really love the use of that. It looks so pretty. Definitely gives me some great ideas. And then finally, I'm going to pop a campsite picture in here, just in case we do end up going for the autumn area. This one, I love that it's surrounded by all these nature and trees, kind of feels very foresty. Definitely the kind of vibe I want to go for, whether it's near the canyon or in autumn or so on. So let's grab that one and plop that right in here. Okay, now we've got our pictures lined up for autumn. Probably going to move them about depending on how many items we end up with. But for now, let's jump into winter. All right, so winter is where I really want to include this. Something like this for stargazing, for aurora watching, something cozy and magical. This would be our first inspiration picture for winter. So let's pop that right up here. And then the next ones I really want to include are these Christmas areas. I really love all of these. They're all so pretty. This one jumps out to me a lot. I love the colouring. Gives me some really good ideas. So let's grab that one. Pop that right there. And finally, I think I'll grab one more. Yeah, I'm going to go for this one. Again, I really love the look of this one. So I'm going to grab that and take it on up. All right, so there's our Christmassy winter wonderland kind of inspo. So let's grab some frames again. All right, so there's our pictures for winter and we are all set. I might need to move them around though, because I'm not really feeling the way they're lined up at the moment. So we may adjust the villagers. Let me play around for a little bit and I'll come right back to you in a second. Alright, so playing around with it a little bit more, I kind of think it looks better like this, although I think we need to probably narrow down the villagers a little bit more. So before we worry about doing that, we're now going to jump into the items. So we're going to scroll right down to spring and start picking out some things we think we may want to include. So let's do that. Now, when it comes to the items I'm thinking about for spring, again, obviously there's hundreds of items we could possibly use and we're not going to be able to include all of them. So we're just going to kind of drag and drop a few that we think kind of gives us the idea of what we want to focus on and be using in that particular area, or something we definitely know we want to feature. So I'm going to start dragging some of these items up and we will see how it looks. We have our spring section complete. We have our villagers, our colour schemes, even a pathing idea, some inspiration picks and some items that we might want to include. I'm really excited. Now, to speed things along, I'm going to try and complete the rest and get the items up onto the boards, and I will check back in with you in just a moment. Alright, that's summer done. Now, just to quickly talk you through what I've done. I've included obviously a desert path because I haven't got a picture representing the oasis kind of area that I want. We've got lots of barbecue things, we've got hammock, coconut juice, things for relaxing by the beach. We've got the palm lamp and the coconut trees, possibly some of the shell or mermaid items. We've then got the boa, I can never pronounce that, baobab cactuses, pyramids and some gold. Obviously, Anka's definitely going to have some blue and gold roses if I can get them. I've never bred them before, so we'll see about that. But I'm also going to add touches of pinks, white, purple, maybe some orange and yellow. I'm not really sure on the flowers. I've not really played around with them yet, but this is what I'm thinking will give us some ideas for summer. So just 2 more to go, and then our mood board will be complete. Alright, and we are done with autumn. Now, I'm really struggled with the flowers on this one because I've no clue what I actually want. I think the cosmos in the black and orange give a really good vibe, and so do the red, the hints of purple and orange. They're the kind of colours we want to stick to. I'm undecided on whether I want to go for the autumn road type path or this really cool mushroom path, so I've included that one for now. But we've got some little references to, you know, the bee farm possibly for Maple, the farmer's market selling fruits and vegetables from the orchard and the farm. We've got some fencing options here, the mushroom objects, some spooky objects, obviously the leaf piles, the moon, a really nice camping area. And yeah, I think this is looking really, really cool. So now we're just going to finish up with winter and then we'll be able to see our completed mood board. Alright, and here is our completed mood board for Elysium. So with winter, again, I really struggled to kind of figure out what kind of flowers might work and look good. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. And I didn't really have the best icon available for the holly bush, but I wanted to actually include it, even though it doesn't really look great in this icon. Now I do want a mix of this path plus the icy one, but as you can see, I'm running out of room real quick, so I've just included the one. But I've tried to get a mixture of the frozen items, the Christmassy items, of course some of the toys and things that we're going to include around the grotto area and, you know, the Christmas workshop maybe. And lots of Celeste kind of style items, not Celeste actual items, but items to go in Celeste's area and the area that will be near Judy's house. So yeah, I am really, really happy with how this turned out. It's the first time I've ever created a mood board, especially for Animal Crossing. I mean, I do vision boards in real life, but never anything like this. And this was a lot of fun, a lot of hours, but a lot of fun to do. And now we have the completed picture and it makes me feel really inspired and really motivated and really excited to get to be able to start building and designing and bringing these ideas to life. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is there anything you'd like to add or change? Is there anything I might have missed? I'm sure there's plenty I've missed. I need a bigger board. But yeah, let me know what you think of it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your lovely comments and feedback. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you soon. Bye.